Hello everyone. On this video here, I would like to show some of the circuitry that John from the UK, the solder shack, who's no longer around, and I don't know what happened to him. He just seemed to have vanished off the face of the earth. Hopefully nothing serious happened to him. But he designed the circuitry. Although I had some of the stuff designed, I wasn't able to make the circuit for when the head turned, it would safely shut off and wouldn't cause the motor to stall out. So he designed a circuit with the micro switches on each end, and if you look back on my videos, you'll see how I was building it and putting all that stuff in the mannequin. But for some reason I can't drag those photos out because I had to have my computer several months back cleaned out, so they're on an external hard drive somewhere, so I can't find those pictures. But they are on YouTube if you want to take the time to look for them. Well, anyways, he designed a circuit, and he also designed a relay box. And for those of you who have not been following the building of Uncle Dorkel, you may have to go back and look at those in order to know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who have been watching, John was a whiz at circuitry. And I'm going to show you some photographs that he took as he assembled each one of these items. The inside view of that relay box, which has 12 connectors on it with the 12-pin plug that goes to that remote that I showed you with the broken button. And what he did is, I had a crude circuit that I wanted to use, and although it worked, it did not have the safety where if you hold the button down too far, it would just keep going and stall the motor out and blow the fuse out. He designed a circuitry where you use 2 micro switches, one on each end. And like I say, you'll have to go back to the video to see that. But in one of the pictures, you'll see the cable that he made up. That's Y cable with 2 micro switches on it. That went on the back of the head stick, so that when the pin came over and got to one extreme, it would shut the motor off, and then you'd have to push the other button to make it go, and then when it got to that point, it would shut the motor off. So there was never a problem with stalling. He had, like, I think 3 or 5 relays, small relays, in the relay box, which is in the Dorkel body that he designed and built. And those push buttons, the one that's broken, controlled those relays. And judging from the back of those switches, there's 4 pins on them, on each one of those push buttons. So I'm almost certain they're double pole, double throw switches. And if my eyesight was better, I could ohm it out and everything, but it's very hard because I have the Harbor Freight thing that I can put, that's over here, that I put over here that has the magnifiers on it. But I don't have 1/10 my equipment that I used to have to work on this stuff anymore. And so Dan Cool Blue Lights had offered to fix it, and also one other of my viewers offered to fix it also for me. What I want to do is, that's not farting. That's my shoe rubbing against the toolbox. It's not me farting. I heard that in one of my other videos that I did here, and, you know, I just want to let you know that. Anyways, so it's an involved circuit in addition to that, and I'll show you in this video, John had also made up an Acme thread gear. He got it off of an old C-clamp or G-clamp, whatever you want to call it. He had his friend cut it up and make it with the nylon bushings and stainless steel bushings at each end, because the one I had didn't turn fast enough. So he had made all this stuff up and sent it to me, and he was a great help. So in kind of like a dedication to him, I just want to show off some of his schematic drawings. He only had the schematic of the safety switches. He did not have a schematic of the control box, the remote. We did not have the schematic of the relay box assembly, because he did all that up here. He's a brilliant man, and like I say, I don't know. He just like dropped out of sight. I don't know what happened to him, but I understand. I think he did have some health issues, and I've never met the man, and never spoke to him on the phone. But he's been a great help. So Dan of Cool Blue Lights had offered, and I'll probably take him up on this, because Dan, I've given you a lot of stuff, so I think maybe, yeah, I'll accept your help on this. But I want you to see this video, and I answered your comment also. I want you to look at the back of the switch, and perhaps you might be able to get him. I can't ohm it out. I mean, I just can't see this stuff anymore. And you'd have to actually unsolder the switch in the 4 terminals, and it's very hard to work in there. So you have to have super good eyesight and great dexterity in order to get in there and do it. You'd have to remove the switch. The switch, I don't have anything to show you, but on the back of the good switch, where the 4 terminals are, you got 4 terminals, so it's double pole, double throw, and it's probably reversed, a typical motor reversing circuit. That's what I think it is. In the center of that, if you look on the back of the push button, when you push the button down, a little pin comes out the back between these 4 contacts. On the broken one, that don't happen, even when you hold the switch in and push it. So it's broken inside. So you actually almost have to dissect the switch or ohm out the good one, because I think the bad one is shorted or opened up, and that's why the motor won't reverse the other way. The problem is in the remote, that bad button, not anywhere else. So I could send you the whole assembly of I'd have to send you the remote control with the wire if you think you can do something with it. So this is mostly for you, Dan, but if anybody else is interested, I'm going to show a bunch of photographs now of the stuff that John from the UK a couple of years ago sent me, and we were in correspondence quite a bit, and he'd send me photos of each one of these things that he was making up and what it looked like, and where to hook this up and where to hook that up. My original idea was going to be a remote control about this size with double pole, double throw switches and heavy wires running right to Dorkel. In other words, probably 18 gauge or 16 gauge wire going to them, maybe I think like 8 or 9 conductors. That was my original idea, because I wasn't going to use relays. I was going to directly control the head motor with double pole, double throw switches, and I had that circuit all worked out in this thick scullabine, but I wasn't able to devise a system for safety so it wouldn't burn the motor out when it come to one extreme or the other. See, with my head, I don't need to worry about that. Okay, folks, here we go. I'll show you some photos of John and the stuff there. Like I say, he's no longer around. John from the Solder Shack. He doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore. But I wanted to just throw this video out so that it'll give you some ideas of how much work and expense went into building Uncle Dorkel. And if I can't get Uncle Dorkel working or fixed, The heck with hack bar. That's nothing. Just throw a mask on. I mean, that's nothing. Anybody can do that. You know, so without Dorkel working, there ain't going to be any more comedy. So here we go. Here's some photographs, and I'll try to explain to you what each one is. Here you see the head motor circuitry, and notice the two normally closed micro switches on the top, the left and the right. Here is an Acme thread head gear made from a C-clamp, and the bushings and bearings and so forth that he made up for me. Here is the two micro switches that he made up on the cord, which would go to the head stick, and the pin would hit it and prevent it from continuing to go and burn the motor out. Here is the remote control cord and the buttons pointed out, which buttons are what, and the 12-pin connector at the right. Here you see another picture of the remote control before it was completed. You can see all the wires in there. Here is the inside of the relay box before he completed it. Here is another view of the inside of the relay box. It's quite crowded in there. Here's another shot here. And another one. That's the red thing on the bottom is the terminal strip for all the connections to the outputs. And he was describing the circuit in black lettering there, but I don't know if you can read that or not. And of course, the busted button at the left-hand side of the remote control. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everybody.